Hey guys, it's Madison, and I decided to try something a little bit crazy, more intense than I'm used to doing. Not really that crazy, honestly, but something different, let's just say. So at the beginning of this month, I mentioned that by the end of the year, I want to post a video where I'm speaking all of my languages and how that means I really need to crack down a little bit on Japanese because Japanese is my most baby beginner language, and I'm not really at a place currently where I can speak it really at all. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting by the end of the year to be able to speak very eloquently and amazingly, but I would like to improve at least a little bit from where I am now so that I can put at least a few thoughts together in a more than babbling baby kind of form. So I've been really hoping that I could just focus a lot more on Japanese in this month before I do make that video. Not that the video in and of itself actually really matters at all, but more just because it's a good motivator for me to actually do what I've been wanting to do, which is study a lot more Japanese. Which brings me to the fact that it is now December 15th, halfway through the month, and I've studied very, very little Japanese. I've already studied a little more than I did last month because I've been doing some more Japanese reading stuff with Satori Reader, and I've also been doing a little bit of the Japanese Duolingo every day as well. But I've mentioned the past couple months that I really want to get more into the Irodori textbook, which is a, in my opinion, really nice online free Japanese resource. I've decided to kind of put myself through a boot camp, if you will, or I'm thinking of it more as like an intensive language school. I've taught at an intensive English language program before as an English instructor. There was a speaking and listening class, there was a reading writing class, and there was a structure class, aka grammar, sentence structure kind of stuff. And so what I'm planning on doing is taking approximately a week, but definitely the next several days, and trying to kind of put myself through that experience in a self-studying kind of way. So every day I'm going to try and tackle a little bit of speaking and listening, a little bit of reading, writing, and a little bit of structure or grammar stuff. And so I was thinking about how to go about doing this and how to set it up. And I decided against having a typical class structure where from this time to this time, I'm going to do speaking and listening stuff, or, et cetera, just because I knew that very early on I would fail. I would not match the schedule, and then I would be like, well, I failed, I'm gonna stop now, and then I wouldn't accomplish my goals. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna try and every day kind of accomplish a few different tasks that would fit into those areas, and in doing so, achieve my goal, which is to do more Japanese stuff. Because if you've noticed, in the past couple update videos, I've mentioned that I had the goal of working on Irodori textbook stuff, and I haven't done it because I just didn't. One of the big reasons that I didn't end up doing stuff like that is because I tend to kind of like going through a kind of a chapter at a time, and it often takes me an hour-ish to go through a chapter because there's a couple of different lessons in a chapter. And I could do less or more, but because I know that I enjoy doing it in this bigger chunk, I would keep putting it off because I would be like, well, I don't want to do that big thing right now. I'll just do this little thing, whatever. And then I would never actually do the longer chunk studying format. Some people might say, well, then just do the small little chunks of it, do little bits at a time. But I don't like doing that. I don't want to do that. And once I do start studying, I do enjoy the full long study session. I just need to do it more often. So this kind of boot camp intensive language self-studying program is my way of forcing myself to do that. So what is this going to look like? The reading writing part will mostly be, well, honestly, a lot of the stuff will be coming from the Irodori textbook. I'm probably just going to go ahead and start off the day by starting to go through a chapter. I'm not really going to focus on writing. That's not my goal right now. I don't need Japanese writing in my life, so I'm totally fine kind of skipping over that skill. The only writing I'll be doing is if I happen to jot something down as part of an exercise in the book. There's honestly not a lot of writing exercises in the book, or if there are, I honestly skip them often. And I don't care because it's not my goal, so I'm gonna skip it. Also, at the end of each chapter, they also incorporate some structure stuff, so some grammar stuff. And then one other note just to say, although my primary focus in this kind of intensive language thing is Japanese, obviously, I still want to keep incorporating my other languages. For example, I have the goal of finishing this book, Omaru Putake, by the end of the month. So I've also gotten out of the habit of reading this, so I'm trying to do it a little bit every day as well. And I'm trying to do that at the very beginning or at the very end of the day, so that I'm not Japanese, and then Korean, and then back to Japanese, just because that might confuse my brain a little bit. And same thing with Chinese. These days I'm reading one article or chapter on Do Chinese every day. And again, kind of at the beginning or at the end or just in a break where I'm not doing other Japanese stuff, I'm planning on continuing to do that just so that I do have that continued exposure every day. And then also I am currently watching a couple of shows in both those languages. So as those episodes come out, I might, listen to / watch them in the evenings, which is when I usually do it when I'm tired from the day or about to go to bed. Anyway, that's the plan. This is the first day I'm doing it. Yeah, so far I've already read half an hour of this book, which ended up being like 11 pages, 12 pages. So that was good, got that out of the way. I might really quickly go ahead and do Duolingo. You might be wondering, like, if you're doing other like good study things, why are you still doing Duolingo? Isn't that like highly inferior? Yes, it is inferior, but I do like having it as a habit because I've noticed that I've actually been pretty good at keeping that habit. So I figure, why break the one habit that I've managed to keep? And also the topics, like the sentence structures that have been popping up recently are ones that I'm not that familiar with. So I figure it's just good exposure, even if it's not the best way to get Japanese studying or exposure done. Anyway, so I'm gonna do a quick little bit of Duolingo and then get into the more intensive studying things. 'So I did a little bit of Duolingo. I went ahead and did a little bit of housework, and then I jumped right into Irodori Chapter 2, which is where I'm at in this Elementary 2 textbook. And I went ahead and did all of the lessons in the chapter, and technically there's a little bit of stuff left to do. There's like, I like to go through the dialogues for the audio files that occurred during the lesson. I also like to go through the little grammar section they have at the end, as well as I kind of just skim through the cultural notes. They're not that important to me. And there's also like a little kanji review section as well. But I'm gonna do those things later. It took me about an hour to get through all of the lessons in that chapter. And my brother just got off work, so I'm probably gonna take a break now and go watch an episode of a Korean drama with him. And then I have to teach a Korean class later today, so I'll probably get that done before I continue any Japanese stuff. So yeah. So I'm back. I ended up watching that episode of the drama with my brother, and then I taught my Korean class, and then I watched another episode of the same drama with my brother as we ate dinner, and then I ran some errands, and then I did some other just random life stuff that was on my to-do list, and here I am back again at 9:15 p.m. Ready to work on the next chunk of language stuff. I tend to be a night owl anyway, so I don't really care that it's 9:15 p.m. I am kind of hoping to be done with like active study stuff by around 10:30, just so that then I can kind of chill and watch dramas and get my language exposure that way. So yeah, the plan now is to go through the ending little sections of that chapter on Irodori, and yeah, then I'll see what I want to do from there.
すみません。手口さんはどの人ですか？髪が短くてひげを生やしてる人です。
So I just finished the chapter of Irodori, the extra sections. So at this point, it's just before 9:45, and I've finished basically that one chapter. And I feel like I've hit most of the main points that I wanted to get done today. I think what I'm gonna do next is go ahead and try to do like a little speaking exercise where I just describe what I did today and anything else that I want to get done today. And hopefully it'll take around 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll see if I'm able to make sentences decently or if it's really difficult, but yeah, that's my next goal. So, finish the speaking thing. I said probably 7 sentences and it took me over 2 minutes to record, which is kind of sad. And there weren't a lot of things I didn't know how to say, just a couple things like probably, that kind of stuff. I wanted to know how to say in Japanese, but I couldn't. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and like write that down tonight. Just like a note for like, hey, tomorrow let's look at this and see how to say this, so that in the future if I want to say that, then I know how to. I think what I'm gonna do now, as one of the last things, is really quickly first go ahead and do a chapter or two. I don't know if they're called chapters or episodes, but it's just like one little section of a story. It shouldn't take too long. And then after that, before I go ahead and get into drama mode, I'm probably going to do my Chinese reading as well. So that's the plan. And that'll probably be the end of my active studying for today.
砂浴びもいいけど、やっぱり水浴びは最高だよね。
中国饭圈经济一，爱美的心。
So I finished doing the reading things for both Japanese and Chinese that I mentioned earlier. I listened to one episode of Kikimi Radio, which is what I'm reading about. It's like a little above my level, but it's fine. I'm getting exposed to a lot of new vocabulary and I have learned quite a bit that I just recall because they use them all the time in this, I don't know what to call it, a series of stories, short story episode things. And then after that episode, I moved on to do Chinese and read a short article about fandom economy in China. And yeah, I think I'm done with the active studying for today. What I'm probably gonna do now is go ahead and hop into bed. It's 10:30 p.m. and I'll probably spend until about midnight watching a few things. First of all, I want to watch a couple of episodes of a new show I'm trying out called Agretsuko. Kind of feels like a mixture of Italian and Japanese. Agretsuko. But that was something that a viewer recommended to me. And then after that, I have a couple episodes of a Korean drama that I want to watch, so I'll probably get to that after that. And hopefully I'll go to bed at around midnight so I can get up again tomorrow and do this again. I'm also realizing at this point that this video is going to be very long if I try to make it a week-long vlog talking about what I do every day. So what I'm probably going to do is finish this day one vlog and kind of put it up explaining what I'm doing. And maybe I'll do one more kind of at the end of the week talking about how successful it was, if it was successful. Hopefully it was. But I'm pretty happy with my first day. I got quite a lot more Japanese exposure than normal, so I'm very happy and hope that I can keep going. And I really think that adding a little bit of Japanese shows to the mix is really going to help me improve throughout this week. And yeah, that's it for this first day. Success, and hopefully I can keep it up for the next week. But yeah, until next time, annyeong, or should I say sayonara.